Most helpful message for Capricorn. Okay, I'm using my astrology / oracle bucket. And let me just shuffle a little. I'm just going to pause while I shuffle. Okay, during my shuffle, Earth came flying out first. I mean, I guess you know you're on Earth, right? You've come to Earth. It's so profound. Let's see what else the bucket has to talk about with us. Magician, but you've brought your magic with you. Okay, Earth magic. Ooh. Earth magic, so you're probably working with the elementals. You may or may not know this. If this is something that's new to you, then you might want to look into it some more. Let's see what else. Oh. The 17th harmonic is about empathy, and it's the harmonic that permeates boundaries, right? So it's where you can easily feel into others and others could feel into you. Manifestor is someone who informs us and then they go ahead with their plan. They don't take a lot of feedback from others. They're just here to get their own genius out into the world. And Coronis, the mythology of Coronis is basically, she was the wife of maybe Apollo, but she was caught being unfaithful. So we'll get more information about that. But that's not her only bit of mythology. We'll see why it's here. It can also just represent a devoted wife, a devotion to something. Shaman. Industry, okay. Soul plan. Came to Earth with a plan. And that plan involved you understanding and knowing that you would need to reparent yourself on some certain aspects, meaning however you're parented keeps you blocked away from certain parts of your magic. All right, I'm going to just see if I can get this to focus better. Come on. You can do it. There we go. If you know of a shaman you can work with, I would certainly suggest it, but this could be referring to you as the shaman. What is your understanding of that concept and how it fits in your life? Do you have a need to be a healer of your own self? Have you gone through an identity crisis? Have you had symptoms that might be called schizophrenic, psychosis? You know, have you felt yourself traveling to other realms while you're here on Earth? Did this easily happen through the emotional body? Have you been able to make a business out of this or visit a business who was focused on this? Whatever you're doing here, it's like you may see what needs to be done and just want to rush forward to do it, but it's actually a step-by-step process. The cardinal cross, which is the 4th harmonic, indicates that there are moving parts here and things have to be done in a certain order, right? So first you had to get programmed in a certain way through the parenting that you got. Then you had to find your way to the realization that you would need to re-parent yourself, meaning give yourself care that a parent would give on a certain topic in a different way than you originally got parented on that topic. Okay? So sometimes this will involve actually a form of soul retrieval, which is like going towards parts of yourself that have been looping in certain experiences or traumas or misunderstandings, and acting as the shaman for yourself to like midwife that part of yourself to join in with the wholeness of who you are. And do this like it's your full-time job, because there's a few parts of yourself that are like waiting to be retrieved. It's like you came in as a soul, and then as you're going through the experiences, you wanted to experience something certain. So a fragment of you held the place while the rest of you experienced what you wanted to experience. Now you've got to go back and get that fragment of you that actually knows a different view of that. Right? So it's like retrieving a part of your soul that has been holding space for you in a certain experience. Oh, we've got lies, and I wonder why that's here. So I think it's about something that where you've been told the way things are, it's not that way. This is a whole process, remember. When I say something like this, there might be part of you that just wants to like snap towards like the reality or the truth, but it's actually a bigger process than that. You're going to need either some guidance or the way lit for you. That's what Hecate does. And it could even take 6 months. But some good progress can be made for the understanding or identification of it within 12 days or 12 weeks. So that's 3 months. Let me ask, what is lies here for? What is lies here for? And I'll ask about some of the others in a moment too. So this could be beliefs that you adopted from other people, or like their explanation of the way things are, or why they're done the way they are, or why things happen the way they are. Lies, unrequited love, Clytia, blind desire and unrequited love. In 8 weeks, so 2 months, there has been a highlight of some sort of untruth around Clytia. All right, so in general, something that I've been talking about recently in some of my shares on YouTube is the idea that Clytia, unrequited love, isn't a real thing, because even if someone doesn't return our love, which could have been happening in this corona situation, even if someone isn't returning our love, we are the love that we give. So since love is who we are and what we are, and if we're giving love, then we're already full of love, right? If we deplete ourselves and forget to give ourselves love, that's unrequited love. If we fail to love ourselves and fill our own cup up with love, that is unrequited love. So, in a sense, yes, I said unrequited love isn't real, but in a sense it could be real if you looked at it from that view, where you could deplete your own self of love. And now perhaps the way you were parented taught you to do that. There might have been a level of sacrifice. I just flashed to this idea of mothers and how do we get through this level of sacrifice that we must do for our children. And how are we not teaching them to sacrifice themselves if we are sacrificing ourselves? Because we don't want people to have a pattern of sacrificing themselves. But this does lead to empathy. Ooh, I just got lost in my own understandings right there. So So perhaps we'll uncover this some more together. Okay. Cronus, it is marriage. It's referring to marriage. Because I asked why Cronus is here and we got Frigg as a clarification. Why is the Magician here? You have a special talent for using magic. And why is Shaman here? Transcended and Saturn. Okay, so this reparenting process is enabling you to regain your full abilities for shamanism and basically magic. I mean, these are basically the same kind of abilities, right? Knowing that this earth plane is just one plane, but you're working with many, you can access many more planes. Why is Industria here? Why is Industria here? It's like you're stuck in some view of what you're doing for a living or a career. Okay? And based on this unlocking this special ability you have by reparenting yourself through some things, we haven't loved yourself yet, there's going to be a choice to go in another direction with what you're doing for a career. Okay? Again, step-by-step process. Again, it needs to be illuminated for you. There is something about marriage here. Maybe there's finding a marriage partner within that industry or an industry that is related to marriage. Marriage counseling, something like this. Why is Manifestor here? You're manifesting a marriage and a family. So if that's part of what you want, right? And maybe there's something in your beliefs that has been keeping you from it. Or maybe the soul plan was to work this thing out within your beliefs before you could line up with that in a way that you wanted to. It could be that you're going to be working with families and marriages as well. What do they need to understand? Share your view of the underworld. Okay, so when you know what it was that was keeping you away from your magic, then you're going to want to share about it. Okay? Why is Earth here? Reconciliation and Narcissus. Narcissist is like self-love, and reconciliation is loving the self in order to reconcile with these parts of yourself that were holding space. Yeah, you've got to just add love and know that anywhere that you felt like your energy was being pulled from you, there's a change of plans here. So one of these places where you might be collecting yourself is in the very early infancy state of mimic with the mother and father. Like there's a stage of infancy where the child is mimicking the parents in order to bond. And during this state, if there's any interruption in the connection process, that could cause one of the fragments of you to kind of start holding space, right? Because now you've developed a coping mechanism in order to navigate that. Now, the coping mechanism is probably unconscious, but also it keeps open that door of wanting to mimic. So you end up going through life and your energy, without your awareness, below the level of awareness, starts mimicking others. So this causes an issue when there are no boundaries, right? You could end up siphoning others' energy or letting them siphon you because there's this underlying issue with being stuck in the mimic phase. So you're reparenting yourself through the mimic phase. Now this is something tricky. I mean, I know there are like womb regression therapies and things like that, and an infancy regression maybe, I'm not sure. But like this is an infancy stage. I honestly don't have an answer on how you would heal this, which is making me think that I still must have work to do on healing it, but I've healed the symptoms of it, so maybe there's just something underlying. Why is energy vampire here? Yeah, there's some wisdom to be gained. There's something to transform. Maybe by teaching yourself what is in your best interest. What is the change of plans? You're going to stop using that weakness of echoing others and do the opposite. Gosh. Okay, how to heal this? How to heal this? How to do that? How to do that? How to heal this? Soul retrieval. Oh, soul retrieval. Okay. All right. So perhaps, okay, so soul retrieval is done by revisiting the moment when these things happened. You allow yourself to go into a meditation, you relax into it, and then just let your imagination bring you to that space, right? And in that space, whether it just be a feeling or an actual memory, or you can try to imagine it to put yourself in that space, at the time you're trying to establish a connection with a parent through mimic. You're mimicking what they're doing. Maybe the parent gets distracted. Maybe the parent is too busy fighting with their spouse, or whatever's happened, it's broken your ability to mimic, right? So instead, what a soul retrieval involves is giving yourself what you need in that moment. So you needed to complete the mimic. You needed either an angel to come in and do the mimic with you. You needed mom to be less distracted and actually complete the process with you. You needed that mimic to be complete, and you needed the circuits within yourself, the boundary, to seal up naturally. So you need to allow yourself to go through the process of giving yourself what you need, and then asking that part of yourself if that part will come with you and be with you. And just by doing this, you heal this open circuit that you have that keeps probably putting you in positions where you are being very, very loving to other people, but they don't return your love. Okay? Because it's mimicking a lack of love for self, which is going way under the surface. This is way, way, way under the surface because it happened at a time in infancy before you were even like having real memories. Okay? This is huge. This is huge. And you may be experiencing anxiety, excuse me, just because of the open boundary, just because of the infiltration. Like if even someone was thinking about you, you could probably feel it. So if you're like a popular person, or if there's a lot of responsibilities and demands on you, and since we're looking at Capricorn, there probably is, that would definitely manifest as anxiety. Okay? It's a lot of energy that could very much overwhelm you. So it's really important that you take the time to do this. Either go to somebody who's a shaman or do this yourself. This is an innate healing process. You do not need to go to someone else. Teal Swan wrote a book on this topic. She calls it the completion process. There are also shaman books out there that describe the soul retrieval process. If you just go into the meditation with the basic understanding that I've already given you, because this process of healing is innate, it will happen for you naturally. You will be able to go through this process and give yourself what you need and close the circuits that are currently wide open and really just causing you overwhelm that you don't need to experience any longer. This is beautiful. And I may release this reading as something more than just for Capricorn. I may release this reading as a reading for people who identify as empaths, because this is actually an important message for anybody who is experiencing an infiltration of their empathy, right? Or if their empathy is like mimicking other people below the level of their awareness on being consciously wanting to do that. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of wanting to say, like, this marriage thing, it could have been a marriage issue that caused your parents to be unable to be present with you during that stage of your upbringing, right? If there were fights going on, if there's some sort of infidelity being fought about, and that took precedence over the bonding moments with you, it's understandable that that could happen, right? But like, if that, because that stage of infancy isn't conscious, it's like, it's primal, that would be the stage you were in, that you were mimicking with mom for connection. So when this happens to you out in the world now, it's not conscious. Your body will automatically start absorbing the other person's energy because it wants to mimic it. And you're not aware of it, because just as when you were an infant, you're being regressed to that stage where you don't have to consciously think, oh, let me mimic this person. It just happens, you know? So that's going to be cleared up by doing this soul retrieval. Wow, beautiful, wonderful. Thank you for this topic coming up, because I'm definitely going to take the time to do this myself. Okay. Remember, it's just information to reflect on, so only take what is useful to you and leave the rest for someone else.